Western Southland, Fiordland. We're here in the Lilburn Valley. You went to the Auckland Islands, John. When was that? When did you go to the Auckland Islands?
2007 I think it was.
So where did that come about? Who approached you to go down there to catch pigs?
Wayne Pratt, yeah.
So what was the idea behind catching pigs at the Auckland Islands?
Do a study on the pigs, but he said don't get your hopes up. The first year it was cancelled, so we got organised and got the dogs certified to make them all dog approved, get them all quarantined.
You travelled by boat to get there though, John. Where's the...
From Bluff,
Yeah, where did you...
it's 2 days to get down to here.
So where's that shore? Was that the right at the top of the islands, obviously?
Enderby Island, and we pulled up anchor here at Port Ross. Stayed on the boat the first trip, and the helicopter came down. I think it took them 3 hours to fly down from Cargill. Refueled at the bottom of Stewart Island, and then we took about 1844s of kerosene down for them. We dropped some pig hunters up here on foot, and they mainly hunted this area here, and got about 6 pigs on here, and then they dropped over into this area, got another couple.
So why did Doc want to know about pigs on the Auckland Islands?
To see where their routine is, see where they live. There's a lot of parts of the island here where pigs don't live at all. It's too steep. They've got to know where the pigs are living, and by putting the collars on them, gives them a map of where every pig travels throughout the island, whether they come down to the coast and easterly to eat seaweed or go to the albatross nest and eat eggs.
So that was the idea, was to put these collars on so that they could follow the pigs?
Yeah, well, people can't be there all year round, so put the collars on, they can study them from the mainland and see where the pigs' routine, where their routine is and where they travel to. It's like there's no pigs at all on the Adams Island at the bottom, and this is all full of albatross nests here, but there's bugger all albatross left on the mainland, and no flightless teal ducks. The flightless teal are still on the outskirts, been wiped off by the pigs.
So these pigs have been there for a long time though, John? How long?
1807 they were let go there.
So they've
By
never...
the sealers, and then the government let more pigs go for shipwreck survivors.
So they just wanted a calculation of how many pigs were left, or the damage they were doing, or what's the predominant reason?
Yeah, they know they've done the damage, and the pigs would get off that island if they could, but they can't go anywhere, so they've just got to live with what they've got. And pigs being pigs will eat what they can do.
Was the number of pigs that you'd actually had to put these collars on?
26 collars, I think, yeah.
So how long did it take to get 26 collars on 26 pigs?
We virtually had it all done in a day. We got about 6 pigs on foot here, and then we used the helicopter right down through here down to about here, and we caught 22 out of the chopper in a day through this area.
Yeah. So before you went down there, you said you had a period of quarantine for the dogs. Now that was to get to the island in the first place, but up to that point, did you? What other protocol do you have to go through to get the dogs down there?
The hard part was looking at a map and thinking how we're going to catch 26 pigs or whatever in a short time frame. The doc said you've got an hour of chopper time to prove I could use a dog out of the helicopter to catch pigs.
Right.
Which I wanted to use a ground crew would be more effective, plus use a dog out of the helicopter. Fly around and spot a pig, and then even the dog became obsolete because we just tie him up in the machine and jump on the pigs.
Yep. Yep.
And only when there was 3 or more pigs we used the dog to catch them.
So once you got a hold of the pig, what did you just strap this collar on, or is it quite a performance?
Like we'd hunt an area through probably 5 k's with the helicopter and just thread cable ties up your arm already latched. Just jump on the pig, tie its legs, one around the nose, stop it biting, then pile the pigs up on an area, on a knob, and get the guys in to fit the collars and give them a shot of to quieten down and then move on to the next lot.
Right, yep.
The main thing, the bluffs down here, some of them are over 300 feet high, so we didn't want to use a dog near the edge of the cliffs.
Too dangerous.
Or even letting a pig go again with a collar on it, because they just run over the cliff and be a waste of a tracking collar.
So you get them in the open where they can be safe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Things are working for you.
So once you've done the wee trial period with the dog catching a pig, did you have any hassles whilst you're down there with the dog in a helicopter? How did you get on there?
Well, just had to pick an obedient dog and make it sit.
To stay in the helicopter?
Yeah, and I told the pilot to use the word sit in the helicopter, and he and we had special headphones for the dog.
Right.
Yeah.
Microphone.
I made up a collar with a seat out of a 120Y Datsun, I think it was, one of them. And just clip them into the seat, and then Thunderbirds they go, just push the red button.
Let them go.
Yeah.
Well, you'd be quite keen, would you got to getting down there to getting out of a chopper though? Be action,
He'd
would
like-
be action.
He did want to jump out, even at this height. Looking at the map, he was
Yeah.
quite happy to jump out at that height. The dogs have got no sense of whether or not they're going to be safe or not. Yeah.
So you kept him hooked on for the last minute, then let him go.
A couple of times I heard him fart when he was hitting the ground, but
anyone ever lived on the island? Is it?
There's a few. Yeah, there's Mary settlement on Embry, lived there for about 4 years, I think, and a whaling settlement for 2 years lived at Port Ross there. And Flemings had a homestead down here. They had 2,000 sheep, I think they all died on them.
It's been harsh.
A lot of shipwrecks, 13 odd shipwrecks on there. And the coast watchers, which they had about a year at a time each, living in the coast watch here looking for German warships or Japanese.
So there's a wee bit of sign of the people being there. Is there some old buildings?
Cemetery, there's not a lot left, yeah. But the Coast Watchers hut, we've had a look at that, flew over that and had a look at the still there.
Yep. How far is it actually from Stewart Island? Like, is it? It's a fair
about
distance.
460 k's south of Bluff. It's, if you put it at Christchurch,
Yes.
turn Christchurch below Bluff.
That's about how
the
far.
same.
So it's a long way down. And cold?
Yeah, we had to keep the fridge door open in the hut at night just to keep things warmed up. They want to know how much the flights are. 2 fish or 1?
I'm Julia, this is Alexis, and this is Ginge. Ginge goes pig hunting in the 12 and he chases the pigs and catches them by the ear. He's been to the Auckland Islands twice and he uses his collar to protect his neck.
Should be dying. I stuck it. Hopefully it'll go down to the creek. You can see it's friggin' thick in here. And it's gonna hit it. This is what you should watch what you eat. See, because you come down here and got stuck between those 2 trees. There wasn't such a fat bastard, he might have got through there. I'm going to have a hell of a job carrying that out. On myself. Oh, you silly bastard. Oh, you're going to have to go to the vet again. Gee. Hello. Oh, I buggered that up, no, Ginge. I didn't have the cover off the video and was videoing Ginge holding this pig by himself. But now all you can see that it's just dead. Two sands are somewhere else. They were bailing another one. Well, go, Ginge. And everyone roaring down there, and I was standing over there, roaring one in here, so I thought it was a spiker, and I just saw the top of his head, and he was 10. He's not a bad deer. Shot him right in the head, dropped stone dead. Ginge did a good job, didn't you, Ginge? Stood still. Hello, Ginge, it's dead. No holes, Ginge? That's quite a good pig in here. I think I've been trying to catch that one for a while. To try and carry this pig out of here. So I jumped over that log and down there. I hope Ginge gets there before that ball gets over the hill. Ginge come up the side. Good boy. Good dog. Done it, didn't he? Took a bit for him to hold that because he hasn't got many teeth left now in his old age. That's good for him. Old dog, he's knackered. Escaped about 4 times. So yeah, probably been after this pig about 4 times, and this is the first time I've seen him. So, but Mario and I had a few too many beers last night in the hut, so I've got a headache. I'm not looking forward to carrying this pig out of here by himself. But that's what you got to do, and it'll taste like shit. About an hour and a half off the lake, off the side of the lake. Right, so that's fresh rooting. That's where the pig was. Standing in there rooting that bank up, and the dog grabbed him. He's chucking out big stones like that. She doesn't want to eat. It's a pretty hard existence getting the feed out of there. And there's some of his rooting from probably a year ago. Just having a break here. Trying to work out. There I am. What happened to him, Julia? Tell me.
He fell off the motorbike and broke his leg.
So I just had to put Ginge down at the vet. Be the hardest thing I've had to do with a dog after having him for 12 years. Spent a bit of money on him trying to get his leg fixed. The choice of either having a 3-legged dog, 12 years of hunting, finished for him.
Pork this afternoon, pig hunting. It's a fairly tough sport. We've got some tough characters here. See what they can tell us about pig hunting, a bit of history and a few stories to be had. What about you, Sam? Were you a young guy when you first got going pig hunting or hunting in general?
Yeah.
You were?
Yeah, my old man was a fisherman.
Yep. Whereabouts? Where was home for you?
Tauranga.
Yep.
Tauranga, yeah. But he was a fisherman, Motiti Island. Good fisherman, but he bought me a pup, was a lamb cross. I fell in love with it, you know.
Yep.
But when I got about 7, 8, well, he used to follow me around all the time. Cross.
You've had some good dogs over the time too, Sam?
Just picked up mongrels. I used to love dogs because I found one new been ripped by a barbed wire and the bloody thing was all in, infested with bloody blowfly. I took it home and my mother bloody done it all up and everything. It come right and it was a good dog.
Yep. Yep.
Then when my grandfather took it out for a hunt and it got zapped up by a bloody boar, it got the pig. Come home and he told me I cried for about a bloody week, over that dog.
Well, I think every time we drank the box of beer before they left, it was just the way it was.
Getting very deaf now. I just went down for a hunt the other day and I put a plug in my heart. I can hear the wind whistling through the branches and all that. But yesterday, holy bloody hell. Can hear the rain pissing down in my bloody hood. The way to open it up like that, went through some scrub and everything. Hello, I can't hear anything. It dropped out of my ear.
Oh, you lose it?
Yep.
Oh,
she's lost. Dog gone.
But somehow in the last 2 or 3 years there's been a lot of pigs. Everybody's getting pigs. Whereas years ago, I'm damn sure there was never the same amount of pigs about.
Yeah.
We had a pair of we used to call it, I think it cost us $70 to push the fence lines on it, and the fence never turned up. And a fortnight later, the pigs had just ruined the whole system.
Track. Well, they can do a lot of damage, in a paddock, can't they, Johnny?
Well.
A lot of pigs can actually plough a bit of ground though, can't they?
There's one thing I can't tolerate. I don't give a damn who gets them. If I can't get them, somebody else has got to get them if they're turning over grass.
Yep.
Somebody might think it's funny to have pigs on the property and turning over acres, but in Western Southland you can't afford to have grass turned over.
No.
You're better with a feed of pork.
When did you start pig hunting, Jim?
Maybe I was about 8 or 9. I seen an old fella go out pig hunting. So I followed him with my bare feet, short pants. He said, I'll go home, you get, and it was raining like bugweed. He said, go home, you get too cold now. So all day I followed him right around the bush. About 9 o'clock in the morning and we got back 9 o'clock at night.
So that was your first time you'd ever been out looking for a pig? Did you get one?
No, we got a venison instead.
Oh, I see.
Just on dark we got a venison. That was my introduction. And we was brought up with we all horses, and we live right by the. You can open a window and you see venison out on the hill. So you ride around the back, and maybe about 12, 13, and I went with a fella named George Emery. And then that's how I was introduced. I used to follow him, and then I used to hold the horses when the dogs barked. I had to hold the horses while they went in and got the pig. And after a while, I got a pup going, and I learned a lot off George Emery. Things in the bush, how to look after the bush, and whatever you get, you take it out. Don't leave anything behind.
Well, I suppose you were dead keen to get your own dogs at that stage, were you?
Oh, very keen. And when I started working at 15, and near my second or third pay, and I was supposed to give some to the old lady, and I said, no way, I'm going to buy me a big dog. And
Yeah.
I bought a pup.
Did you use horses a fair bit in that stage? I mean, that's
yeah.
how you got about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All horses up
Yeah.
there, and you ride on the horses, and then you see the horse change gait, and then he stiffen up, and his ears would prick up, and you look, and you see the deer above the manuka. You see the head, and you see the head of the deer, and that's how you can tell as soon as the horse changed gear. Oh, they could see the deer.
When did you get your first pig, Morel?
Well, I was always more of the deer side of things, and yeah, just now and again you'd run across the pig, yeah, and probably shot deer before shot pigs before I actually got the dogs. Me and a mate run a couple of labs chasing deer, sort of shot the deer out in one particular place, and then yeah, there was a few pigs, and the dogs got sort of sick of nothing to do, so these labs were catching pigs. So we decided, oh well, we had another mate that had a breed of dogs. One of his bitches had just pupped. He rang me and said, would you like a pig dog? I think it was weeks later these pups arrived, 2 of them came down, and from there we sort of got into it. Yeah, you get a lot of satisfaction out of running your own dogs.
So you'll still shoot if you dare to, you'll still do a bit of both?
Yeah, when you got dogs, you got to run them. You can't have pig dogs and be away deer stalking, so yeah, since we've been in the pigs, went that way.
You've had a few memorable sort of hunts too?
I like down the Warraheri, just run your dogs there and you might cover a bit of ground, but you usually finish up getting a pig.
It's reasonably big pigs down there?
They're good fighters, very good fighters, yeah. I've seen a lot of people come out of there with quite smart dogs, and dogs have been tidied up,
Yep.
yeah, or ripped up quite bad.
Use a rifle, Morel, or you stick them? What do you do?
It's a bit of both. I always carry a rifle. You never know what you're going to run into one day, you know. Not everybody carries a rifle, but I like to have one on the shoulder. Well, there's a lot of hunters around too, but what do you think, Jim?
Oh, lots of hunters around.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is they got a lot of half-ply dogs,
Right.
and it's only educating the pigs to run. They give a couple of barks and a pig breaks.
Yeah.
They bet on it and it breaks. And next time they come along and do the same thing. So that pig's going to be a runner, and if it's 3 or 4 of them with him, because he runs, they're all going to run. And that's how starts the runners.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're not going to bail up and turn around and have a fight.
So
they're
the
just
pigs-
going to run.
The pigs are getting educated before.
They're getting educated,
Mm.
and that's the biggest problem all across. That's the reason they're turning around to greyhound and whippet crosses
Bit of speed.
with a speed to them.
Yep.
Mm.
And that's what they're doing now.
That's why the numbers have increased.
Yeah.
They're not getting as many pigs. Because they're getting a bit more wiser to the...
Yeah, they haven't got their dogs going well or educated them, or the breeding isn't right. 9 times out of 10 is not so much the breeding, it's the amount of work you put into it. Because a dog is a natural instinct, is to kill, find an animal to kill. His natural instinct right back from the wolf. For me personally, I'm quite happy hunting on my own. I can set my own pace, I can have sleep, I have carry on, I can do what I want to, all on my own. Yeah.
So you never ever worried about carrying a rifle?
Never, I was just telling John, I can count on that hand the number of pigs I shot.
Yeah, right.
All my life. And to this day, I still take a bloody meathead. I only need one dog, I don't care. As long as I got one dog holding, I'm happy. That's my pig.
Yeah.
One dog, that's enough. That's my... And I'm happy with that. I like a good meat holder and meathead and anchor. Good night, yes. Thank you.
So what you're saying, a good big dog.
It's like boxing. A big strong man will always beat a little strong man.
Every man to his own, though, isn't it?
Every man to his own.
Pigs, yeah, there's Port Craig was one of the highest densities of pigs around in the South Island. It was well known for a good spot to go and get a pig, mainly because the old Port Craig mill, when it was closed down, there was a lot of clearings and that. When they milled out, and there was a lot of secondary growth coming back, and there was good feed, a lot of grass. They had gardens and all that back in the old pioneering days. It was the 1920s they had the mill going. And yeah, consequently they bought the pigs and good feed, and they just multiplied. They got that bad that they actually bred themselves out there back in the 60s. I know a guy that used to come in here, and he said the pigs, you couldn't sleep at night at the old maintenance hut. There was a maintenance hut at the Warahiri when they used to have a telegraph line around to Pusica Point. And he said you couldn't sleep. It was just that many pigs rooting and carrying on, and then he said he came in about 6 months later, and he said he couldn't hear a pig. He said they're just gone, just like some disease had come through. I suppose it's just nature's way, just culling them out. Be some disease comes in and just kills them. See how big she is.
Well, let's stand not. See what's going to catch in there. Put the gun down there. Hello. Grab it. Just kick it down that creek. Probably have to put it over that log there so it doesn't come back at you.